Hey fellas, so there's a bunch of fucking controversy cooking up yesterday over some Olympic shit that was pretty surprising, dude. I don't follow this shit. I do know, I guess whenever it comes around I hear about it, but I don't really know any of the athletes that compete in the Olympics for the most part. But if you've been on social media recently, in like the past 48 hours maybe, you may have heard of this woman. Let me go ahead and boot this up on the screen here. I may butcher the name and whatnot, but we're going to read this article and then we're going to talk about some more shit. Sha'Carri Richardson, I hope I'm saying that correctly. That's a dope-ass name, Sha'Carri. A track sensation tests positive for marijuana. Richardson, a gold medal favorite in the women's 100 meters, was suspended for a month, putting in doubt an appearance at the Tokyo Olympics. Alright. See, this was published July 1st. Holy shit. Update July 3rd. It is, okay, July 3rd, so 2 days. The American sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson, who was set for a star turn at the Tokyo Olympics in this month, could miss the games after testing positive for marijuana. Richardson, 21, won the... Holy shoot. Is she 21 right now, or... Is she 21 right now, or is that like showing her age for this accomplishment? Richardson, 21, won the women's 100-meter race at the U.S. Track and Fields Trials in Oregon last month. Yeah, okay, she's 21. That's impressive. But as a positive test automatically invalidated her result in the marquee event. The United States Anti-Doping Agency announced the positive test result Friday morning and said Richardson had accepted a suspension of 1 month starting June 28th. That could clear her in time to run the 4 by 100 meter relay that takes place in later in the game, if she's named to the U.S. team. Man. In an interview with NBC on Friday, Richardson blamed the positive test on her use of marijuana as a way to cope with the unexpected death of her biological mother while she was in Oregon for the Olympic trials. Richardson, who was raised by her grandmother, said she learned about the death from a reporter during an interview and called it triggering and definitely nerve-shocking. Alright, so there's going to be two things we're going to debate here. One, should she have gotten banned? And two, should this be a fucking rule? Or banned for a month, or suspended, not banned. Because obviously I think she should be suspended because she knew this was a rule and she still did it. So, you know, she broke a rule knowingly. But I think most people, 99% of people who have read this article are like, this is stupid. This is a very dumb fucking rule. Not only that, but I'm pretty sure the consequences, just having a win literally stripped from you like that is very, I don't know, it's just very inconsistent with other rules that they have, because marijuana, no matter what, and the whole jiu-jitsu circle that I'm affiliated with, dude, people in jiu-jitsu, they say that when they smoke weed, it gives them clarity. It's like, no, you're just a dumbass. It does not make you, it does not make your head more clear. It doesn't make your cognitive ability any better. Like, it does not strengthen shit. If anything, it inhibits your performance, because it's really not a performance-enhancing drug. I mean, it's just straight up not. It's like, dude, if you are going to ban athletes and strip wins and titles away from them for a marijuana test, something that is a drug, but you know, it's not performance enhancing. Why? What happens if they test positive for like caffeine? Like, what do you think is helping your performance more, caffeine or marijuana? I understand that there's some legality issues with marijuana. But, come on, man. A 21-year-old, like I said, she should have got, I mean, knew she was breaking the rules, regardless of her reasoning behind it. She said the death of her mother. She may have just been tying that together. Who knows? So I agree that she should have been suspended for, you know, however long they see fit, as long as it's a reasonable time period. But only because she knew that it was illegal. Because obviously she's had rules explained to her and whatnot. She knows it's on the banned list. Especially an athlete of this level should know that. But it's just a stupid fucking rule. But it's a rule that she did break. Now, I've got a couple more tabs open, because now we're going to talk about some other things that they just don't line up. Like, if she is getting banned in a women's sport for testing positive for a performance decreasing drug, as I look at it, It just doesn't make any sense, because if it's about performance enhancing, or I don't even know. Like, I know this is not going to be like apples and apples. This is going to be more of like an apple and oranges comparison. But I have this article pulled up, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Get it up on the screen here for you boys. So, Laurel, I don't know how to say that, Hubbard, first transgender athlete to compete at the Olympics. New Zealand's Laurel Hubbard has become the first ever transgender athlete picked to compete at an Olympics in a controversial decision. I can't fucking read. Officials have selected her for the women's weightlifting team for Tokyo 2020 after qualifying requirements were recently modified. She had competed in men's events before coming out as transgender in 2013. Critics say Hubbard has an unfair advantage, but others have argued for more inclusion at the Games. Quote unquote, I am grateful and humbled by the kindness and support that has been given to me by so many New Zealanders. End quote. Hubbard said in a statement issued by the New Zealand Olympic Committee on Monday. She will compete in women's 87 kilogram weightlifting category. The 43-year-old became eligible to compete in the Olympics when the International Olympic Committee (IOC) in 2015 changed its rule allowing transgender athletes to compete as a woman if their testosterone levels are below a certain threshold. Testosterone is a hormone that increases muscle mass. Controversial choice. While the athlete's testosterone levels are below that threshold, critics say her participation in the Olympics is still unfair to female-born athletes. I can't read today. They've pointed to the biological advantages of those who have gone through puberty as males, such as increased bone and muscle density. I don't even know if any of this is worth reading, to be honest. But this is the stuff that doesn't make sense. It's like, how is this allowed? And I'm not saying it shouldn't be allowed, even though I do kind of fall in that category. Obviously, nothing against transgender people. But this is somebody who has benefited from the advantages of, for decades, being a male. Or not being a male necessarily, but... or it's not even being a male, it is benefiting off of the hormone production and just the overall development of a male as opposed to a female. It really is staggering. And like I said, I know it's apples and oranges before someone says that in the comment section. I know this isn't a one-to-one comparison, but it's like, this is allowed, somebody who, for decades, you know, it's almost like for decades they've banked up the myonuclei of being a man, like the muscle memory of being a man. I know that doesn't really make sense, but that's how I've got to go into my head. Is allowed to compete against other women. But then if a woman who has been a woman and has had the hormone production and female development of a natural born woman throughout her 21 years, instead of 21 years of benefiting from, average male development. Sha'Carri gets suspended and titles pulled because a positive test for marijuana, a performance decreasing drug, versus Laurel Hubbard, someone who is genetically superior in this aspect. I understand that she's probably taking hormone suppressing supplements or whatever. That gets her testosterone down to, I don't know what the normal women range is, maybe like 30 to 80 nanogram per deciliter is whatnot. I don't know what the cap is, but it's like, man, not only did she benefit from going through puberty as a male, I'm sure there were, a decade, 2 decades afterwards where she also benefited from being a male. But who knows, man? It doesn't make much sense to me, and I wanted to bring this up just in case. Just to be fair, there was, a transgender that is ineligible to compete at the Olympics. Don't know why.
Only 9% of plastic is recycled.
No. Why the fuck is this playing? It could be totally unrelated to being transgender, but I just found this article and it just says that basically they don't know why yet. It hasn't been released as to why they're ineligible. I just wanted to bring that up just in the interest of fairness. But it's just some consistency. And like I said, I know it's not a one-to-one comparison, but it's like, how is a natural-born woman with natural-born female development and whatnot and attributes not allowed to compete because of a failed drug test, but someone who is a natural-born male is allowed to compete against women. It just doesn't make sense to me. And like I said, this is not an argument for Laurel Hubbard not to be able to compete. That's not what I'm saying at all, even though I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's just that I think it's a stupid fucking rule, honestly. I think it is a very dumb rule. Anyway, just let me know what you guys think. I'll see y'all later.